Hey, I'm Shay and welcome back to Books with Shay. I feel like it's been so long since I've said that, and I'm so excited to be back and filming a reading vlog for you guys. And this is a very special one because it is my New Orleans reading vlog where we go to New Orleans. We're driving to New Orleans and listening to The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh, which is set in New Orleans the whole way. And then we're gonna go see some of the places that it says or talks about in the book. I know of at least one we're gonna go see. And we're also just gonna do some touristy things in New Orleans. So LT and I read an article that said that in order to keep a marriage like healthy and alive, that you should go on a date every 2 weeks, a little getaway every 2 months, and a week-long trip every 2 years. So we are trying that and seeing how it works. Our marriage is pretty good and happy so far, but we're only a year in and we want to keep it that way. Yeah, we're gonna do our little weekend getaway to New Orleans, and we're gonna bring you guys along because it's a bookish trip. Also, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about how I did this trip for super cheap in case you want to take a trip like it. Is it just me, or do you guys also super overpack when you can pack up your car and go? I feel like we always really overpack when we can pack up our car. Are you excited?
Yeah.
What are you the most excited about?
Daiquiris.
Okay, great. Not romantic.
No, yeah, just to get away with you.
Not just to get away with the alcohol. All right, we're gonna load up and go. We are backing out right now of the driveway, and so we're about 7.5 hours out. We're gonna listen on 1.5. I think we're gonna start, and then once we get used to the narrator, we'll bump it up until, you know, it like is at a speed that makes sense. Ooh, you guys are shaking, so I'll hurry and end this clip. Anyway, so we're about to start The Beautiful right now. Actually, I might go to Starbucks first. So we're gonna go to Starbucks and then we'll start the book. That's a hilarious face. Okay, so thank you. I wanted to update you guys as we are reading. So we're on the road to Louisiana, and we are just a couple of chapters into The Beautiful, and already the writing style is so, I feel like saying beautiful is like, ha ha ha, it's beautiful. It's very atmospheric, and already it's talked about them riding in on a boat on the Mississippi. It's talked about the streets of Louisiana, of New Orleans. It's talked about the smell of fried dough, and it's like I cannot wait to get there based on listening to how beautiful and amazing the descriptions are. And so something that we're going to do while we're there in order to really kind of round out our experience and experience as many things as we can from the book on our stay in New Orleans is we are going to go on a river cruise down the Mississippi, which will kind of mirror this opening couple of scenes where they're talking about cruising into New Orleans. But I'm excited to keep reading. I want to update you guys as we're going. We're probably gonna pull off soon and get some food because I am hungry. It's looking like, I don't know like what I've said and what I haven't said so far, but it's looking like we're gonna get there just after 9 o'clock, and then I think we're gonna go try to find some place to get a daiquiri or a hurricane. Did we set on daiquiris tonight? I think we're gonna go to a daiquiri place that is supposed to be really good and look for some like New Orleans like famous food, some red beans and rice or some gumbo or something, I don't know. And then tomorrow morning I think we'll get up and go get some beignets, because listening to them talk about, my mouth is watering, talking about the fried dough dusted in sugar in the book has made me like need a beignet. So I'm excited. Do you have any thoughts, LT, about what you've heard so far? Beignets. Is that your only thought? Beignet!
They made it sound so good.
They did.
In that description.
And by they we mean Renee Ahdieh. So I'm trying to get inside of Louisiana before I stop for food, because if we're gonna get fast food, I feel like I want a Louisiana Popeyes. I don't want to stop at like a Texas burger place, and we're not far from crossing over the border. We totally got BTS sidetracked at the beginning of our ride and listened to some BTS, and LT watched some BTS videos while I listened to them through the speakers and stuff.
Watching those J-Hope compilation dance videos, you know how you're down that rabbit trail and then you're just lost forever.
So yeah, so we spent some of our time doing that and talking to each other and loving on each other, because ultimately this is a romantic, like this is a couple's getaway, so we want to spend time loving on each other. And so we talked some and hung out some, but now we are into the book. Olivia just texted me. I was like, I'm live texting you through this book because Olivia from Olivia Reads Latte, I will put her handle here, I will link her down below. Olivia is the reason I'm reading this book. She absolutely loves it, and so I am excited to live text her. But I was texting her all of my thoughts and stuff, and I was like, I should probably update the vlog so that you guys know my thoughts. But anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna catch up with you all in a little bit and let you know like what we do for food and, you know, just how we're going here in a little bit. Okay, so I was like, we're gonna read the whole book on the way to New Orleans and then experience everything, but I don't think we're gonna make it through this book because every 2 seconds I want to update you guys on something, because it is so good so far. We are like maybe in chapter 3. We are not very far in at all, and I'll try to make these updates short because I know they're a little bouncy on the highway, but she says right before we start bouncing like crazy. Okay, so a couple of things. The first one is that they're talking about carnival season in New Orleans coming up before Mardi Gras, and how in New Orleans all the way up to Lent they throw all these parties and parades and carnivals and things like that. We, I think, are a couple of weeks out from Mardi Gras. Hey Siri, when is Mardi Gras?
Shrove Tuesday is on Tuesday, February 25th, 2020.
So it's on February 25th. Today is February 12th. So we're 2 weeks out from Mardi Gras. And so they're already going to be beginning to celebrate. We didn't want to go during Mardi Gras because that's a lot, especially for someone who occasionally suffers with social anxiety. Like, it just would be a lot, all the people and crowds and things like that. But we wanted to go close enough that we got to experience some of the like Mardi Gras vibes of it, you know, the energy of Mardi Gras. As I hear them talking about places, I've been to New Orleans once before. LT's been a couple of times, and I'm already recognizing places that they're talking about, streets that they're talking about, landmarks, things like that. I'm already recognizing those things, and so it's going to be crazy to be able to go and see them. If you guys have never taken like a bookish weekend, we're like a few hours in. We're less than 3 hours into our little bookish weekend date, and it is already one of the coolest things that I feel like we have done together. It just speaks to so many things that I love. I love to read. I love new experiences. I love the way that things make me feel, like when they're very atmospheric. I really, really love that. And we're in the middle of an atmospheric read. I'm with my favorite person. We're going on an adventure, a weekend trip, a getaway. Like, there are just like so many things. My very best bookish friend already loves this, so I have someone to live text every time something happens where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, you know. So it's so good, and it's just the beginning, so I cannot wait to see where it goes from here. So I am hoping that I'm not updating you every 2 seconds and not able to listen and fully enjoy or immerse, because I keep wanting to pause and tell you guys things. So I'm gonna try to wait and gather some thoughts, but I don't want to wait so long that I forget things, you know. Anyway, you guys are shaking around, so I'm gonna hop off. Okay, so you guys let me know in the comments down below if you want spoilery videos, like reading vlogs, or not, because I'm always so torn on whether or not to give you spoilers in these vlogs. But I'll check, before the next update, I'll check and see how many chapters in we are. I am a few chapters in, and we are now seeing that our main character is morally gray, I would say. So she has some very dark thoughts and ideas. Sorry for the noise in the background if there is one. It is misting, like it's not like raining really, but it's misting, and there's also the mist being like kicked up by the trucks and stuff in front of me, so I have my windshield wipers on. Anyway, so yeah, so she's a little morally gray, but she's been through some things that I also feel like justify some of her behaviors. And I love a book that causes you to question what you would do in a given situation. So even though in my life I feel like there's no way I would do what she did, when it starts to like work through the circumstance and the feelings that she had afterwards, I'm wondering if like that like that inner, like your most raw animalistic piece of your personality, like if we were honest with ourselves, if we would feel like if killing someone would give you a God complex, like holding someone's life in your hands and choosing to take it, if that would make you feel powerful or make you feel, you know, like more than human. I obviously cannot imagine that outside of a fictional world, which just is obviously fictional. It is definitely low fantasy. It's set on Earth in a place that we've heard of, on streets that a lot of us have walked, but there is definitely magic brewing in the background of this. Anyway, there are some really good kind of discussion points about what you would do in certain situations here. Also, it is about 50 degrees outside, so not freezing, but chilly, and there are gray clouds in the sky, really low-hanging gray clouds, and there are beautiful, thin but tall-ish trees in, like, on either side of the highway where we're driving. I think I got some footage of us driving that I'll be able to insert to kind of show you what I'm talking about. But if it is not the most Twilight feeling day, I don't know what is. Whatever filter they used, it's not called a filter, I can't even think of what it's called right now, but that they shot Twilight in, it is that type of day out here. And so even though The Beautiful is definitely not Twilight, Vampire Academy, Interview with a Vampire, like, it's not those kind of vampires. It's like there's a stereotypical vampire, and if you guys have seen, I work with kids, so please excuse my childlike references, but if you guys have seen Hotel Transylvania, how every time the vampire in that goes somewhere, it is really good. Every time the vampire in that goes somewhere, they're like, oh my gosh, you're a vampire, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I do not say blah, blah, blah. Like, and it's like a whole running. Anyway, so I feel like in some of those other instances, like Twilight and things like that, it's more the stereotypical, can't go in the sun, teeth that very much give away, you know, who you are, and not being able to be around people without smelling blood and all of that. This seems a lot more, for instance, I'm a meat eater, but I can be around a cow and be fine. Like, you know, I'm not like, oh my god, burgers. It's like a vampire is more human in this. More, I don't even know how to explain it very well. Like, it's definitely a more subtle approach than how I've seen vampires done before. However, I will say that I'm only a couple of hours into the audiobook, so like that could change. Maybe it'll get way more out there. But if you're looking for the vampires that you're used to, so far I don't feel like this would scratch like a stereotypical vampire itch, if that makes sense. The writing style, because it is so just there's so much imagery, and it's so silky and just smooth, and texture. There's just a really beautiful texture about the writing of this. It was jarring to me when we were a couple chapters in and homegirl got her throat ripped out. Like, it
Spoiler.
was like, it sounds like it's like a spoiler, but if you want to know nothing about The Beautiful, hold on, so maybe I should say, if you want to know absolutely nothing about it and you want to just go in knowing nothing, then this is not the vlog for you. Because even though I'm not thinking I'm going to give like outright spoilers, I definitely, like, in order to talk about it, I need to be able to say some things. So if you're someone who likes to go into a book knowing nothing, go read The Beautiful and then come back and watch this vlog. Anyway, I'm going to keep driving. As you guys can probably hear, it started raining and I don't know what the audio quality is like. So I'm going to, focus on the road, do some more listening. Okay, so never fear, because eventually you guys will get a lot of good New Orleans B-roll, and so it's not gonna all be me giving you update after update right back to back in the car. But something that I had heard, a negative critique that I had heard about this book, is that it is kind of slow. And I will say, listening to it on the way to New Orleans and it being overcast outside, and because it is cooler outside, we had the heat on earlier, so it's like toasty in the car and everything, I'm beginning to get a little bit tired, and here is the reason why I think that is. So like I was saying earlier, that the writing is just so gorgeous. I really think that the descriptiveness of it causes it to maybe seem a little bit slower, because she is taking time to describe everything and then compare it to something completely opposite of it, that gives you the sense of the feeling that she's trying to instill, if that makes sense. And so I think the description, when you are listening to it, can get a little bit list-like, in the fact that it's just so much. There's so many descriptors. So far though, I feel like they are worth it for the picture that they paint. I think that it is necessary in order to maintain the atmospheric quality that she built so well in this. I think that it's absolutely necessary for her to describe this in such depth, or describe the things in such depth, but it does make it makes it feel slower than I think it's actually going. Like, because like people are like, it's slow, and I was like, man, in the first like few pages someone gets their throat ripped out. Like, it's not like slow, like it's not like you get kind of a preview into what's happening, but I think she's building a very meticulous, multi-layered story, and in order to do that, each layer has to be fully explored, which can give the illusion of it being slow. So we are about 2.5 hours into the audiobook. We're going to take a quick break from the audiobook and do a little bit of music, pump ourselves up a little more, and then once we have done that, I think we're gonna hop back into it. But we've been driving for 4 hours, and like I said, we haven't been listening the whole time, and so I think we're just in like the middle of the drive kind of slump, and so we're gonna do some music, we're gonna try to perk back up a little bit, and then we'll hop back into it. We're definitely not gonna finish it before we get to New Orleans. There's literally no way, because we have like 11 hours of an audiobook and 3.5 hours of a drive, but I do think we'll listen to it some in the hotel tonight. I also brought the physical copy if I want to read physically, and LT can use the headphones or whatever and continue to listen, or, you know, like, we can continue to both consume it. And I think it'll actually be something that we read all the way through our time in New Orleans, which may be even cooler, who knows. So we made it to the hotel, and I, full disclosure, have already been in the room, but I'm going to give you a room tour as if I haven't. So turn this way, and here's our door. And then you open up, and there is a sitting room on this side, LT on this side, with a nice like little makeup area slash coffee area. And so this, I don't know what corner to stand in so you can see, but this is basically like a living room with a little TV and stuff in here, coffee table. And then I don't know what this is, maybe a little closet with your little safe and everything in there. And then in here is the bedroom, and it has a nice little king size bed. Our stuff's over there on the bench, and then a mirror and TV and a window with a view of like nothing really. I didn't try to open this already, but so you can't really see with the lights on, but you can kind of see city lights and stuff out there, traffic flowing. Nice little angel cherub headboard me. And then the bathroom in here with a tub shower combo. Y'all, I have like no idea where like lights or anything like that are, but you know, you can kind of see there. We are going to head out to go get daiquiris, I think, tonight, and I think that's all we're doing. Let me see if I can find a place to prop you guys up, and I'll give you a book update before we go to get drinks, and of course I'll bring you guys along for that also. It's kind of rainy, so I actually think I'm just gonna wear, like, y'all, I am like as casual can be. I'm in like a little dress with like the cold shoulder on it, which is all screwed up, you know, and then some black leggings and some little slides with a hoodie, and I'm straight up about to go wear this to walk down and get daiquiris. What?
That's the dress you wore to New York, isn't it?
Oh, this is. LT just pointed out this is the dress I wore to New York when we got engaged. This is like my comfy, like, I don't know, it's comfortable, so it's what I'm wearing. LT's OOTD, he's in some basketball shorts, some Vans, his gray t-shirt, and a ball cap. So we're styling and profiling, and yeah, so let me get where, ooh, the light's pretty good right here. I'm gonna try to find a place to prop you. I'll give you an update on the book, and then we'll go get some drinks. Okay, so maybe not the best place ever to prop you, and you're a little low, and there's not really anything to put you on top of, but it's gonna work for right now. So let's see, we have 8 hours and 2 minutes left, so we're like just under 40% of the way into the book. We listened to it off and on, but like I said, like I updated you guys kind of in the car, that it was getting very descriptive, and we needed like some jams once the roads, like, it started getting dark outside and we were getting tired on our drive. And so we kind of alternated between the book and music, and so we definitely didn't finish it, but it has gotten so good where we are. We are both super intrigued. LT keeps going, I like this, which is like a good sign for him that he's like super into something. So it has a very mystery kind of vibe. I would say mystery thriller, but it's not quite thriller. It's like a combination between mystery and fantasy. It almost reminds me of the murder, like dinner theater type things, except for not corny like that. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this. Like, if you guys have read The Beautiful, leave a comment down below helping describe it for people who are about to choose to read this or not choose to read it just based off of me being idiotic with descriptions right now. So it has gotten really, really good where we are. So we're not gonna actually listen to it right now because we're gonna walk to where we're going, and so we won't like play it in the car or anything, but I think when we get back to the hotel, we're probably gonna cuddle for a little bit and listen to it when we get back here. So my goal is to finish it before we leave New Orleans, and I think I'm going to bring the physical copy up when we get back. I think I left it in the car, but I'm going to bring the physical copy up and kind of annotate it with some of the locations. But I know in the book it talks about Canal Street, and our hotel is actually on Canal Street, so it's crazy because we're even staying on a place that it mentions in the book. So far this experience has been super cool, and I can't wait to plan more of these and to share these with you guys. But I'm just really excited. I'm excited about the trip. It's just getting started. We have the hotel room tonight and tomorrow night, and we are going to kind of hang out, get our drinks tonight, and then tomorrow we have a packed day, and then on Friday we also have a packed day, which is Valentine's Day, and then we'll drive back Friday evening. So anyway, yeah, let's go get some daiquiris, I guess. Okay, so right before this I probably inserted a clip of us walking down the street that has a name that I can't think of. Do you know what it's called?
Bourbon Street.
Bourbon? Bourbon Street. And we got one of these tropical isle grenade drinks because I had seen the grenades everywhere and wanted to know what they were like. And it was very tasty, and it had a lot of alcohol. It was the only drink that LT and I got, and we split it. And I am so, like, I only had enough to drink to be completely, like, totally tired. I'm really sleepy. And plus we went on a long road trip today and all that stuff, so we were hungry, and so we went and got Weedat wings. You can see we've already started, but there are some regular wings, some Wazam wings I think is what these are called, some fried shrimp, and then some cheese and bacon fries. And I'm dipping mine in ranch, and LT is a savage. He's just eating his. But I think we are going to split this wing plate and then probably just go to bed because I am, like, tired. So we'll update you guys tomorrow when we start doing the beautiful activities, and see you tomorrow. Good morning. It is the next morning, and we just woke up and we are about to head to get some breakfast. So before we get, like, all dressed for the day and go do, like, all of the things on our list, the first thing that we want to do is get some beignets, because it talks about fried dough covered in sugar at the very beginning of the book. I want to bring the book up here so I can tell you guys, like, some of the quotes that we're talking about, but it talks about fried dough and sugar at the very beginning of the book, and then a few pages later she talks specifically about beignets, and so we have been, like, craving some. So we're going to go to Cafe Beignet. So we had heard that the best beignets were at Cafe du Monde, but the last time we were in New Orleans we went and got beignets from Cafe du Monde, and it's a little further. And we've also heard really good things about Cafe Beignet, and that's less than half a mile from us. So we're gonna put on just some casual clothes and go walk down, grab some beignets, and then head back and kind of plan out what other things we want to do today. Maybe do some fun activities, I don't know. So we'll see you guys at Cafe Beignet. So we're in the car now. As you can see, I'm still looking busted and disgusted, and the reason for that is that we the reason for that is that we ended up coming out and ending up doing thing after thing after thing, and then like the things that we wanted to do were gonna close if we didn't go ahead and do them. So now we're in the car for an hour-long trip to Alley Plantation, and I am excited about Alley Plantation and going to see it because it has a really pretty lawn with these gorgeous trees, and I'm really excited to see it. But I'm also excited because I have really been wanting some more reading time, and this gives us 2 hours round trip. We're gonna hit a bump. This gives us 2 hours round trip to get some more reading done. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the beautiful. I will say we went to this little coffee shop place called Envy Espresso Bar, and they had breakfast in a go cup is what it was called, and it had grits on the bottom, and then scrambled eggs, and then hash browns, and then gravy, and then sausage, and it had bacon sticking out of it. Y'all, oh my gosh. It was like one of the best things I've ever consumed. Oh my gosh. It was very, very rich and very, very filling, so LT and I had to split it. So we actually went to Cafe Beignet and split some fried shrimp, and then we went to Envy and split breakfast in a cup, and I am like so full that like it's probably a sin. I'm so full. The food so far has been amazing, and you hear in the book them talk about how amazing the food is, but like, y'all, New Orleans food is like just unreal. So we just pulled up to Alley Plantation, and it is so nice out here. Everything is so pretty, and it's like perfect day and weather and everything to tour. I'm so excited. It's like 55 degrees maybe outside, and so it's literally the perfect weather for this, and I'm just really excited to go in and see and show you guys. It's gonna be awesome. Plantation, and it was a sobering experience to say the least. And I talked earlier in this vlog about how the writing style of The Beautiful was crazy because it was such, atmospheric, just insanely gorgeous, smooth style of writing, conjured very attractive thoughts in your mind, but at the same time it was talking about murder, it was talking about blood on someone's hands, it was talking about throats being ripped out, and it was all of these really gory, terrible things being wound into this like pristine illusion of beauty. And I feel like visiting Alley Plantation was exactly like that. I don't think I've ever seen more beautiful trees in my entire life. There are so many gorgeous things about the grounds here, but to go and see the slave quarters, to go and see just the plantation itself, like the fields where the sugar was, the rose gardens, the actual big house of the plantation where the masters lived, and like, I don't know, it's crazy to see how literally in the backyard of something that was so beautiful was something so wretched. To read about how literally if a bone was fractured or broken on one of the slaves working in the fields, that they would just amputate that limb, and that the doctor who did the amputations was considered to have a high success rate because his patients didn't die. Like, just living was success in an amputation, and that it was just a couple hundred years ago. Like, this is not thousands of years ago. We are not talking about like prehistoric times. We're talking about just a few degrees of separation. And I was talking to my mom today about my great-grandmother and how slavery in the Bahamas, where my mom is from, existed up until the 70s, I believe, and the 1970s, not the 1870s, which is like 100 years plus after it was abolished in the United States. And she was talking about how my great-grandmother was purchased by her husband, who loved her but was a slave owner, for a sack of flour. I don't know. This is a lot. I feel like I need to process some more and maybe come back and talk to you guys more about it. But like, I grew up learning about these things in my family. LT did not grow up learning about these things in his family. And to watch my husband walk through this experience with silent tears streaming down his face the whole time was very impactful for me. And I feel like we are just maybe emotionally drained right now, just having the experience of learning about it. Imagine living, so we're gonna chill out, take a chill pill, take a break for a second, and just try to process what we have experienced and been through, so that it enriches our life in the future and causes us to live in a way that honors our ancestors who went through this, and by like my ancestors that went through this, and that for him, that he is able to shed a light for people like him that didn't understand up until this point.
Like I was saying before, I don't feel like I really have a place to say or feel what I'm thinking or feeling, you know, like...
Well, what are you thinking and feeling?
Just, it's like, to see it firsthand is so devastating. To like be just the tangible, like, even of the 10-year-old boy who would pull the rope to work the fan for the adults in the dining room. Like, it's just despicable. And like, there's so much... I feel so much shame for what people that look like me have done in the past. You know, it's, I don't know. It's...
Y'all, like, if you haven't been out here, if you haven't seen Alley Plantation, we're in Vatchery, Louisiana. So if you can ever get out to Vatchery, Louisiana, come out and see, or make a trip just to do it. I know we will be doing it, like, for our kids, and, like, we'll be back to see it again in more detail. We did not budget enough time for this. This needed more time. But if you're ever out this way, Vatchery, Louisiana, come, take a tour, hang out, learn. Jesus. Okay, we're gonna end this. Good morning. It is the next day and we are headed out right now. Oh, my collar is doing some very 2000s popping. We are headed out to go grab some breakfast, and we have our river cruise booked today because I told you guys, like, in the opening or beginning of The Beautiful, I'm trying not to look like Pippi Longstocking, it is not working. At the beginning of The Beautiful, they come in on a boat on the Mississippi, so I wanted to do a boat on the Mississippi. Also, Olivia texted me to tell me where the opening scene was, like where in New Orleans it was, so we're gonna try to go see that. And I'm not sure what all our plans are for today, but basically we're going to just do the last few things that we kind of wanted to do before we start to drive back home, because today's our last day. And I think that there were a lot of things that I did get to do that I'm really excited that I got to do. I think we will definitely, no doubt about it, finish the book today, and so it'll kind of put a nice little bow on our trip. However, I think if I would have read it before and then reread it on this trip, that I would have been able to go to more places. Like, I would have been able to write a more solid itinerary before I came, instead of kind of flying by the seat of my pants as I'm reading it, like trying to experience it right then. And so I think we will probably, I don't know if we'll do this exact trip again or not, but I think at some point we will probably try, maybe if Olivia and Elijah want to come, maybe we'll do a couples trip with them where we do it again or something like that. But I don't know, because we did do a lot of the things that I wanted to do, just not everything. Like, I'm a planner, I like to be able to plan things, so I didn't get to plan it, I think, is my main issue. But because we've done a lot of the things, I don't know if I would do it exactly again, maybe if I was showing it to a friend for the first time. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and take our bags down, check out of the hotel, go find some breakfast, and take you guys on some more of a beautiful adventure. And I'll check in with you guys soon. So I don't know how well you can see me because I can't see, but we are at Niao's Cafe maybe, and we're gonna get gumbo and red beans and rice, so I'm so excited. This piranha is giving a presentation, and these piranhas are listening to him. AC unit or something, but when I saw it at first I thought it was like a massive snake because I'm an idiot, and I was like, if this was a massive snake, I would nope right out of here. Would you nope out?
No, I'd fight it for you.
Oh my gosh.
When we first started out, without flaws to care about, we were both young and sure.